You know, the Royal Oak has been on the throne for quite some time. Only very few other watches would even dare to threaten its place. That is, I would say, until now. So in this video, I'll be reviewing the sort of new kid in town, the Chopard Alpine Eagle 41 XPS, and I will be answering your most frequently asked questions about this watch, like, is it really worth the high price? Is it really more scratch resistant than a Rolex watch? And how does it wear? And many more questions. So let's get started. Right, let's cover the hard facts first, such as the dimensions of the case, the main characteristics, and the material of the Alpine Eagle XPS. It was actually co-president of Chopard now, Carl Friedrich Schäufele, who designed the St. Moritz, from which the current Alpine Eagle inherited its design. Back then, the St. Moritz was, only 37 millimeter in size, but the Alpine Eagle 41 XPS, as the name gives it away, has grown to a modern 41 millimeter in diameter. It does have a very nice lug-to-lug of 47 millimeter. For example, the 36 millimeter OP has a 46 millimeter lug-to-lug and has a very slim height with only 8.2 millimeter in a 100 meter waterproof case. Like I said, the Alpine Eagle follows the design of the St. Moritz from the 80s. Got a steel case with a 3-link steel bracelet that is integrated. The middle link has a mirror polish to, visually slim down the band somehow. The bezel has applied screws that fortunately align parallel to the dial, unlike the St. Moritz. It has a 3-hand layout with the second hand set on a sub-dial at 6 o'clock, which gives it a very classic look and just emphasizes the very minimalistic approach here. The texture of the dial, though, is intended to resemble the iris of an eagle. It's called Monte Rosa Pink. Pretty much everyone calls it a salmon pink dial. I would say it tends more towards like a warm bronze color, but it really complements the steel color that is very cool. Another very interesting dial design here is the golden Roman numerals, and the watch only has them at 12, 3, and 9 o'clock. Otherwise, you've got the luminescent bar indices. Overall, it's a very successful mix, I would say, of a rather playful dial with the eagle iris and a very minimalistic traits such as the hands, the bracelets, and the bezel. The material here is something very special. Chopard calls it a lucid steel. It is supposed to be lighter than normal steel. It looks softer in terms of color. It kind of is compared to white gold in terms of the hue. It is made from 80% recycled stainless steel, and according to Chopard, particularly resistant. It says in quotes 50% harder than other steel, but they don't really specify which other alloy. But yeah, therefore more durable and less prone to scratches. Of course, it's still not invincible and will scratch in everyday use. Right, next, let's clarify how the hard facts affect the wearing experience, who the watch suits well, and how it feels. It's obvious that if you spend so much money on a watch, you want to make sure it fits well and suits you. Not only is size important, but also case design and fine adjustment options. So due to the integrated steel bracelet, there are no options to swap for another band. So if you need variation in that department, this is not the best watch for you. The bracelet also has no taper, so it doesn't narrow down, which can feel bulky for some, but others love the feeling. The butterfly folding clasp really connects seamlessly into the bracelet, thus offering very little surface area for scratches, which is nice. But there is no quick adjustment or like fine adjustment options. But you do have half links on the bracelet, so you can kind of work your way around this. Like I said in the beginning, this is a lug-to-lug of 47 millimeter and a very low height of 8.3 millimeter. The watch is very comfortable even for smaller wrists and is easier to pull off, even though it has a 41 millimeter in diameter. So I would say even with a 170 or 160 millimeter wrist circumference, you can get away with this. Nevertheless, the 41 millimeter width remains, and the light dial visually enlarges the watch, so it is a matter of taste at this point. Very often the question arises whether it is really more durable than the Rolex or the Patek because of the lucid steel. The fact is that according to Chopard, the alloy is 50% more resistant than conventional steel used in watches such as perhaps 316L steel in Tudor watches, for example. And there is not much information on worn Alpine Eagle models with lucid steel, as a few are sold, which seems like people really love this watch. The few heavily used ones you can find on Chrono, for example, actually still look relatively new, which is impressive. I am very surprised to see that even like the polished middle links still look so fresh, even though they often get like the brunt of the wear and tear when you wear the watch on your wrist. So yeah, there seems to be something to it that they are 50% more durable. Now, another thing that was really important to you guys is to know how it feels to wear the watch, not in terms of comfortability, but just the overall perception of yourself and if that changes. And I've got to say, if you're wearing a Chopard, it is something different than your standard, I have to say, Rolex or Omega. It's also nice that Chopard has remained independent. Many talk about Chopard as a secret part of the Swiss Holy Trinity, especially because of the manufactured movements, but more on that later. And I would say, especially among other watch enthusiasts, they're almost always compliments when you wear the Alpine Eagle, because I would say true connoisseurs cameras, they know what's behind it. And yeah, this watch is also not often seen on wrist, so this is something different for a change. I would say this watch is especially suitable for those who want something special that gets recognition, especially among watch enthusiasts, but otherwise they want to fly a bit under the radar with this watch. Anyways, the most frequently asked questions about this watch is it really worth the money? Or, is the price justified? The XPS costs $24,300 on retail, but the gray market prices really do differ here. They're all above list price, so this is some kind of a Rolex situation here. It seems to be a very popular watch. The current cheapest offer I could find online was around $28,000. But yeah, the watch features an in-house caliber, the LUC 9640L. It has a height of only 3.3 millimeter, which is extremely thin. So you've got the micro rotor made out of gold. It has an impressive power reserve of 65 hours, thanks to its twin technology. That's the 2 stacked barrels. It is certified by the Genevan seal, so you've got that on the back as well. And not many manufacturers have that. And overall, the movement is extremely well and very finely finished and a true eye catcher. And all of this combined makes it understandable why this watch is, more expensive than, for example, your standard Rolex or Omega, because there's so much more craftsmanship involved here. And, with luxury watches, it is always difficult to find real justification for prices. In the end, everyone has to decide for themselves and their budget. And here we have it. These are the most important points you absolutely need to consider before buying a Chopard Alpine Eagle 41 XPS. You now know exactly what to look out for, how the watch wears, whether the size fits your wrist, how the steel alloy actually performs in everyday use, whether it is actually worth its price for you, and at the end of the day, whether the watch is a good buy or not for your situation. If you've got any more questions, please drop them in the comments down below. And if you want me to review another watch, also make that suggestion down here. As always, I would like to say thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more watch reviews like this one, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye.